here for. As we look around, all the gentrification, which I refer to as apartheid, as genocide, is taking place because they're pushing us out. And so it's no longer just gentrification. If we don't exist anymore, it is a genocide. It is apartheid, economic apartheid. Before there was the pushback and before there was ceasefire in other countries internationally, it was already taking place locally. Before we heard about Project 25 in with the Republican Party, that was Project 2015 with our local city council, our local mayor, Mary Ann Baldwin, who was in newspaper or some article today telling lies that she's grateful or she's happy about all the housing that she bought to Raleigh. Well, wherever she bought the housing, it wasn't for black people, it wasn't for low-income people, it was the homeless population rose. So obviously it wasn't for us because they did not build housing for us. They tore down housing that was for low income. They tore down housing that was for families, working families. They tore down naturally occurring affordable housing, meaning a house that we may look at and say, hey, we could rent this or we could live here. We can buy this as our first home that the city owned. They tore it down because they wanted to put something bigger or grander there, or they tore it down and sold it to a developer for a cheap price. Then the developer built something that we couldn't afford. And that's all by intention. And if you read Project 2025 and how they're speaking of getting rid of the community investment money, the CBDC or whatever, you'll know the alphabet. The alphabet's right, don't make a difference. But community investment money, our tax money, getting rid of it and not using it correctly.
So I have a question for you, because you are speaking exactly. You said Project 2025 is what's happening now, but it happened back in 15. So can you tell me how you were, as you're sitting here talking to us, can you give us more information on how what's happening right here and where you live, how this Project 2025 is affecting you right here and right now already?
Project 25 is happening right here, right now at Heritage Park because of the funding that they don't want to use federal funding to rebuild Heritage Park. They want to use only private funding and HUD funding. HUD funding, hold on a minute.
Got it.
Okay. HUD funding would only
Got it.
would keep them. Thank you. HUD funding would keep them in where they would have to follow HUD policies, such as making sure there is a resident council, making sure they have to have protections for someone like me, making sure there are protections all around, more so than like when COVID came. There were protections that HUD people who have, rather, even if you have a HUD loan, not so much if you live in a HUD public property, but even if you had a HUD loan, you had, buying a house with HUD, Fannie Mae money or Freddie Mac money. That HUD money covered you in a different way if you just had a loan from a private bank. And so having HUD funding covered you and protected you differently with COVID, more so than it did with private funding. So having HUD there is a covering, is a protection. Okay. There are other steps they must follow, they must adhere to before they just put you out.
Okay.
And those are things that whiteness or people with with the funds, the developers, the banks, don't want to follow. They just want to evict you.
Yeah.
They just want to tell you to get out.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the ways that how Project 2025 is in existence now, in a way that there is nothing. This place right now is a HUD-funded place. Nothing is making these people, unless we go to HUD and fight for it, which we're fighting for right now, to tell these people that they must rebuild this place again with HUD funding. Because what they're trying to do now is rebuild it without HUD funding and say that it's going to be economic mobility by saying, well, we're going to have some 30%, but we're also going to have 60, 70, and 80%. Now, 80%, there's lots of 80% in housing already around Raleigh. You don't have to live out here, but the advantage of living out here making 80% is called mixed income. Mixing income basically is another AKA word for whiteness, bringing in white people to be with black people, because we even had a city councilor once say, he was part of the 2015 city council regimen, Project 2025 regimen, to say that we black people need white folks to look up to, basically, is what he was saying.
Okay.
Saying his name means nothing. He's not worthy of saying his name. And I don't remember it, but he's not worthy. Somebody can Google it. But it was said, and not any of the black city councilors stopped him that was on city council. Not any of them questioned him. Not any of them raised their hand to say, hey, you wrong. And the mayor didn't. No one came back and, said, hey, how dare you? We're black and we came from meager means. My mama used to do hair. We didn't have all the money, but when you become bougie and think you all of that, you can sit there and let a white person drag your black community. And that's what they did.
So, does anybody else have questions? Because I have some more questions. So, do you mind me asking another question?
No, you can ask all you want. I'm glad somebody's here asking.
So, for me, and just to let you know that I'm a mental health clinician.
Yes.
How is that, as all this is affecting your community that you live in? Because this was just brought to me on how they are trying to basically wipe you guys out and start new. Exactly what you're saying. How is that affecting your community in the mental health? Like you personally and what you're seeing within your community in their mental health?
I'll let you answer that when I say this. I'm in the process of being evicted as we speak right now from another part of Raleigh, but as a black person, as a black woman that's disabled and wishing there was city funds. No, let me take that back. There are city funds that could help me, but I'm trying to figure out abracadabra or look for genie in a bottle. I don't know, but I had a major panic, anxiety, whatever you call it, attack this morning.
It's okay.
And I'm sick and tired of it because I'm a fair housing advocate. I know the fair housing laws.
Right.
I've been fighting for housing justice for over 15 years. This is something I know. This is something I do. This is something I read about where HUD has sent the funding and who has the funding. And I know if it was sitting here, somebody playing games with it.
Right.
And I'm just tired right now of dealing with these people. That's why I said I must come out here today regardless of how I feel and regardless of what happened this morning. But Shy has also been impacted by them playing games with us here in Raleigh. Some people don't consider themselves homeless if they got a couch to sleep on at a family member's, or if they got to stay in an extended stay, or if they had shelter over your head. But let me tell you, you are homeless if that is not your 24/7, 365-day address in your name.
Yes.
That mail and your name is not on that lease, and you're not responsible for that place. You are homeless.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. You are unhoused. Don't let nobody tell you, well, I ain't homeless. That's what they want you to believe, because you're not counted on the census as such. So they're not going to send the money. So mentally, I feel like I talk to my ancestors all the time, and I have to go back to the 1800s and some of them names I remember hearing about growing up to get me through it. I was telling Wall about Harriet Tubman. I said, we coming out here, I don't care if it's 2 or 3 people. Because I read when Harriet was talking about, it was only a few that wanted to come on with her on her first ride.
Right.
It was just a few. It wasn't until her middle and the end when she had a lot.
Right.
So if it's only a few people when we first get started, we still gonna keep on keeping on with this train.
Yeah.
And when the train get large as Amtrak, hey. But if it don't, this caboose gonna keep on going.
Say that again.
So I'm gonna pass it on to Aisha, and if Shah wants to speak, he can.
Yeah, please do. The question was, do you mind getting on live? Because I really do want to make sure. So my question, and your name is Shy, right? Do you want to talk as well? Because I have questions. Okay, you can. Do you need the mic? Because the mic is written now. So my question is, how do you feel like your mental health is being challenged with having to, be rehoused, having to look for housing? I mean, how is that even affecting your physical body? Because we talked about that, but I just want you to kind of share what's happening with you.
So for one, just being honest, it's very stressful. You don't know where to think. You wake up every day just wondering, like, where do I go from here? But being in this situation has caused me to have health issues, such as hypothyroidism. Now, I was fine a month ago or whatever, but, by them pressuring us to get on this train that I'm not ready to all aboard with, it's really causing me other health issues. As you can see, I got on compression socks. I have swollen ankles and feet. They want me to believe it's what I'm eating. It can't be just what I'm eating. It's got to be basically my environment and everything like that, and what I'm living in. Also, I want to state that I've also been living amongst Mo's boys. Like, it's just all in these apartments, and they know it. They did nothing about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm scared to still live under their housing authority, but I don't have no choice because my income, is low. But it's very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And it does cause health issues, mental health. I never even took time out to think about myself.
Yeah.
During this time, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm gonna go for me and my kids and where we're gonna live.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does mess with your mental. It does mess with your. I have anxiety. Sometimes it's hard for me to breathe, let alone sleep. It's not a night that don't go by that I can't get a good night's rest, because I'm always worried when they're gonna send us the letter saying we gotta leave.
Right.
So it does mess with me. My mental health is through the roof right now.
Do you mind me asking a couple more? I don't know, because I'm taking over. Any questions? So this is my next question for you. Okay, you're saying that you're noticing your mental health is really being challenged, and not only that, it's messing with your sleep, it's messing with your body, it's really impacting your kids. So my question to you is, do you see how it's messing with your kids? Like, do your kids know, or are they just paying attention that something's going on with their mom?
I think they do notice.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they see my ankles and stuff, and then they see me go to the doctors. And
Yeah.
why am I going so often? And everything, and so like, they do notice, and I think it's playing a big role on them, because for one, the kids don't know how stressful it is for me as a mom, but they're excited. They're like, okay, we can move. My daughter even thought we could move across the street to this new building they just built, and I'm like, I can't afford it,
Right.
And we want to live in something better, but it's not as what it seems, and that's what I try to get them to understand.
Yeah.
But they do see how stressed out I am. I mean, when I collect one box, they're like, Mom, are we moving? And I'm like, no, I don't know where we're going yet. So it's almost like that movie, Mom, are we there yet? Or are we there yet? That's all I keep getting from the kids. So I think it's gonna affect them eventually, because they're seeing me move, gradually taking stuff out of the apartment. We get rid of stuff, so it's always a thought on their mind. Are we moving yet? And when are we gonna move?
Mm-hmm.
But,
and it's not 100% by choice, because they're telling you to go.
Yeah, of
They're
course.
yeah.
This is by choice. This is by force, 100%.
So I'm glad you said that because that was my next thought. Do you have a question? Because I feel like I'm taking over.
Actually, I have a couple of them, but I'll ask this one first, and then the other one is more about the extinct heat issue that Wake County Housing Justice Coalition put out a statement on. Earlier, before we started, I think we talked a little bit about the fact that Raleigh Housing Authority claimed that we'll navigate with each and every one of you on a one-on-one basis to help you find a place. Can you tell us what they have actually offered so far?
Well, they offer vouchers, basically. It's vouchers or you transfer. They even told some of the bigger bedroom sizes that they can kind of like divide, instead of keeping the family together, they want them to divide.
Wow.
Yes,
explain divide, because I would love to know what they mean by that.
I'm still stuck on that myself because I just can't imagine being in a 5-bedroom and you tell me to split up, even if someone is above 21 or 18, right? Yeah. But if I have a child that's challenged or needs my help as a parent, I can't imagine you telling me to tell them to go find their own place because y'all want us to move from out of our place they were comfortable in.
Yeah.
So you can rebuild. There's not enough 5 bedrooms out here that is affordable for people. But you do have, I asked for them to build back the 5 bedrooms when they do remodel or redevelop this place, because it's not right that those people are going to be homeless. Being honest, they're going to be homeless. There's no 5 bedrooms for them, but the dividing was their way for them not to be homeless, basically.
Okay.
Separating the families that's already together.
They're gonna rebuild them back after pressure from us. They are going to rebuild back 4 and 5 bedrooms out there, but are they going to be affordable? Right.
Who are they? Who do you guys think that they're rebuilding this for?
Dorothea Ditch Plantation.
Okay.
The mixed income.
Bringing in the
white
mixed,
folk,
yeah.
Red.
There you go. Get you.
This is being rebuilt for Red Hat. They want to take over the North Street, which is not this street in front. It's the next street over, which is a main thoroughfare for all those houses over there off of Boylan, all those houses over there off of South Saunders. Mind you, the history of this area over there off of South Saunders on the other side of Boylan is called 4th Ward, which was the largest black district at one time in the city of Raleigh, which meant it had the largest black vote in the city of Raleigh before District C did.
Okay.
We know District C of Southeast Raleigh have been the largest black voting base at one time. It's not now because it's been genocide. So.
Okay.
But so they want to close not this street but the next street over to make Red Hat wider, saying that's the way it's supposed to have been from the beginning. Well, that's what you should have done from the beginning before you started adding all these other big buildings and townhomes and all this other foolishness and other genocide and apartheid before. You should have done that from the beginning. I don't know who stopped you. Apparently it was some mayor or somebody that stopped you. But the Downtown Housing Alliance, people are saying if it's not done, it's going to hurt people. People are just going to be like they made it sound like people are going to die. Well, guess what? People are dying.
Right.
And they're not dying because of Red Hat. They're dying because they don't have housing.
Right.
Now, if you got space to add Red Hat and knock stuff over to make an amphitheater when we already have one over there at Walnut Creek, why don't you just send those groups over there? And what I don't understand is why don't Crabtree, North Hills, other parts of Raleigh that have events and things going on, go and talk to these downtown people, let them know that they're not the all in all, be all and end all that run Raleigh. They are not the all in all that pay all the taxes, and they're not the only ones who have events and things that go on. The PNC, that's in west side of Raleigh, Briar Creek. Where the hell are you? You need to speak up and tell downtown Raleigh that's not where all the tax-based money come from. Downtown Raleigh is excluded. It's one side of Raleigh. It's not for us. When we used to have like 100 plus black businesses downtown Raleigh, you can't count 10.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did a report to show how many minority women's and businesses get funding for businesses downtown Raleigh, guess how many minority women's and businesses get funding downtown?
Tell us, please.
0.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. I don't have the actual number on my head, but
The majority was
white men.
Yes.
no white gay men.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was white men or not a minority?
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in the table, it just identified like in terms of racial demographic breakdown.
It was white gay men.
Wait, yeah, they didn't indicate the gay part, but we.
Yes, they did. Gay men are not. They're a minority. White men are not a minority in minority women. They cannot be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the we make sense of.
Demographic.
Yeah, we make sense of that because that's the only way they can be on MW. What was it? MWBE. Yeah, MWBE.
Yeah.
The Minority Women Business Enterprise, which is something that the City of Raleigh can distribute funding for. Now, they did allocate, I think, a much smaller subcontract money to 3 black-owned businesses, but the 3 subcontract added together is still less than that one that was allocated. So just to give that context, and none of them was given to women.
Black women or white women. When it used to be white women, even white women are being discriminated. And you know that's what Project 25 even discriminates against white women.
Yeah.
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 They speak of that publicly.
So,
First of all,
but I want Shy to speak because he's back too.
you ready to speak, Shy?
About the mental health
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. How is it affecting your mental health? In any capacity?
Please use the mic, 'cause you talk soft.
While we shy.
So as far as like the mental health aspect, I think about how like how you were saying, it's a lot more than just it's the environment itself. You're dealing with a lot of stressors constantly. You're unsure of your living conditions. So basically, you're constantly stuck in survival mode. And when you live in survival mode, you're just stressed. You're stressed constantly. You're just constant stress, pressure, and thoughts of how, like, am I going to be able to eat? Am I going to have a place to sleep? What am I going to do for my kids? What am I going to do for myself?
Right.
Like, how am I going to handle this? What is, and so you're living day by day because you can't really plan for a future that's unforeseen.
Right.
Being stuck in survival mode prevents you from having stability, and without that stability and grounding, you can't really like get bearings on yourself mentally. And
Yeah.
so it affects the way that you navigate and you operate in life. And so yeah, it's interesting. I've talked about this before, and yeah, it could lead to, it does lead to depression, and it does lead to stress, and it does lead to substance abuse and things of the sort, because now you're trying to find ways to cope with the stress. You're trying to find ways to cope with your situation, and sometimes maybe it might be weed, or then you get into alcohol, and you might get into something even more serious, and then you start spiraling more. Everything is a domino effect, and the whole thing about it is like getting caught in that cycle of homelessness is that chronic homelessness. It only really takes like one situation that could really like mess you up for years.
Right.
And now you're traveling between hotels or family homes and stuff like that, and that's not really no way to live.
Right.
You can't unpack all your stuff. When all your stuff is in a suitcase or in trash bags, or your whole life is packed up in a car. But what if you don't got a car and you got to use public transportation and you're walking around and the bus system is unreliable and you don't have $5 for a day pass? And
it's a lot.
It's just a lot. It's constant. And then you got to deal with programs that are meant to help you, but just make it harder. And then it's all roundabout, and then they have funds, but then they're using the funds to support the program, but don't support the people who need the program. It don't make no sense.
Preach it. Yeah. Tell it. So I feel like I'm taking over. Am I taking over? Because I have questions.
I'll pass this thing to them.
Yeah, we need to.
I know y'all have a story. Okay.
So I have one more question for Sha, because I'm getting somewhere, because I'm trying to get your story heard, okay? I didn't ask you because we as women, we move one way, but men move another, right? How is this impacting you as not only a man, but a black man that's having to deal with this, and literally it's different for you? And I hope you understand the question.
As far as like, I don't really like talk about my story in depth or like really at all, but I'll speak a bit about like my current situation. So me and my brother, it was my brother and then his girlfriend, and we had a place, but the living situation was very toxic. So within like a month of moving in, I had to find somewhere else to go. Luckily for me, somebody was kind enough to take me in, and so currently I'm staying with them, and I'm in that situation where, like Wanda was saying, that's still homelessness, because that's a roof over my head, and it's a home because they've accepted me as, you know, as a part of them, but at the same time, it's not the home I built.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a difference when you're trying to build your home.
Right.
It's a difference. As far as like stress, as a black man, it's dangerous to be out there in the streets. I'm outside a lot, working and stuff like that. I'm in my car often, you know. I sleep in my car more often than I might in a bed or on the couch, just because like I don't have a bed of my own. I don't have a room of my own currently either. I'm sharing a room, and I'm on an air bed, and that's my situation.
Yeah.
And I gotta deal with that, and I gotta find comfort, and I gotta figure out, you know, I just gotta keep working, and you're expected to keep working and grinding and be strong, and you can't be, you know, you can't really complain. It's like you're just expected to keep grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, but grind culture is like so fucking toxic, and it deteriorates your mental health in itself.
Yeah.
It says we gotta pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, and we're not where we want to be because we're not working hard enough. But if I'm working tirelessly every fucking day, then how am I not working hard enough?
Say that again.
Y'all not trying to work with me.
Yeah. Thank you. One of my viewers said thank you, and she was very happy that I asked you specifically, because I really want us to understand how this mental, if you don't mind, just how mental health is really impacting you guys in this space, you know. And I just want to thank you, because I feel like I'm taking over, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm asking the questions, because whoever can hear you guys' voice, I need them to understand that everybody doesn't know how it feels to have somebody to say, okay, this is where you live, but we're just going to come in because we just decide we need more space, right? That eminent domain happens, and people don't know when it happens, what it looks like. Because what I'm hearing you say is, they can tell you today that at the end of today's the 15th, what's today, whatever today, 30 days, they can say it's time for you to go, and they're not worried about if you have somewhere to go, right? So I just wanted to ask those questions to make sure that I'm understanding, because like I said, I'm just now hearing about this, but I want to make sure that your story is told. I want to make sure that people can hear not only the physical parts that you're dealing with, but this is a mental situation. Like you said, where am I going to live, right? I'll rest in my car before I have to sit here on the street as a black man, right? Because now you're doing something wrong. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
On top of that, I have to have it expressed to me how dangerous it is for me to like take naps in my car, but it's like, it's like, that's comfortable for me. I bought my car, I clean it, I made that my space, and it's like one of the few things I really have that's just like purely mine, and so it's a safe space for me. But at that same time, because of how I exist and how my hair looks, me taking a nap in the car can get me shot. Or just harassed or whatever. And then it alters your brain chemistry, because that constant stress, it changes the way you view things, it changes the way you navigate things, it changes the way you interact with people, it changes the way you view yourself. And you have to unlearn that, because just getting into a new home doesn't undo all that, because now you have to unlearn all that bullshit that's been built up over years and begin that process of healing while building your stability. And that's just like a whole nother process of the healing. And healing your body, healing your spirit, healing your mind. And so just getting in a home is not enough. Just getting a job is not enough. It takes a lot of work to get off the streets. How am I supposed to afford to get a home when I'm working a minimum wage job and I'm spending my money on a hotel?
Right.
And so that hotel is taking up all my money. So how am I supposed to save up so I can afford first month's rent, last month's rent, a deposit? That's like $4,000 right there. Where am I getting that money?
Right,
Not. So the way it's designed is not meant for us to get out of this situation.
Right.
And so they want us trapped in this situation realistically, because it disenfranchises us as a people collectively.
Right. And then want to take your housing away. Ain't that something?
And let alone, this just kept popping in my head, because like I stated earlier, we're all mothers out here, mainly females.
Yeah.
We can't have males staying in our apartments with us. They're take away the help from us.
Yeah.
We need from the stability of fathers, right? So this also affects our relationship.
Right.
With
That's deep.
Or, friendship wise, whatever.
You can't have males in your home. Is that what you just said?
Yes. They're not allowed, especially if they're like a criminal, they have a record or whatever, which that's the system. Once they put us in the system, it's hard to get out. But as a
Oh, she couldn't hear you. She just wanted. Okay. Is it on?
okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so this basically affects our relationship when it comes to like boyfriend, girlfriend, friendships with people, because sometimes I'm to the point where I'm so stressed out, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to see me, because I don't want to take the anger and frustration I got out on them for no reason.
Right.
But I got a friend now that, it's just too much homelessness going on, and it should be a bill passed that no more black folks should be homeless. We should all be housed. I mean, we're not getting anything, and this is not helping to just keep rebuilding when it's not for us.
Right.
That word affordable to us is not affordable.
Right.
Making 3 times the rent, I mean, I'll never be able to get there. I was working hard one time, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened to me, and this is real. I used to stay down here in those apartments, the 2-bedroom before they transferred. I was working 2 jobs. I had just brought my mom home to stay with me. She had just came out of Butler, which, if people don't know, it's like a mental place, right? So she was going through her mental thing, and I was trying to help her. Well, while I was at work, I'm just going to say CPS called my phone, and they told me that there was a case taken out on me. Somebody called woman.
Right.
So it broke me down mentally. I'm at work crying. I couldn't work no more. I'm around children. I was in daycare. I come home. I thought the world had ended. I'm like, they finna try to come get my kids, and I'm doing the best I can.
Right.
So basically, the system wants us to break our neck and work, but yet when you're out here working 2 jobs, people call in on you and tell lies that you're not taking care of your kids or they home alone. It's like, what do we do? So I done been through the ropes, and now I'm scared to leave my children at home. Like, I make sure everybody's home before I take off. My oldest, she'll watch them, but it's so stressful to even be out here working and trying with no help. We don't have no father figure, and then when we do try to bring a business in the house, you can't work from your home. So it's they don't allow us to do hair from home or sell good old fried chicken plates or fish plates and stuff. That's what I'm used to doing. When I was coming up, you would have cousins, family members come up. We would do hair outside on the porch. Somebody would be cooking something. They would offer us stuff. We don't have that going on over here no more. It's just they want to divide us, even in the community. It's a lot of people that won't come out and talk. They're afraid. I done showed these people we can get on the news. We can put up a fight. Like, I wanted to do something where, like, digging in their pockets, right? I wanted to go through the community and do a petition. Hold back your rent for a month. Let's see what they do. But I didn't have, so many people are afraid. Let me say that. They are afraid to even fight for themselves. That this is where we're stuck in. And I'm still trying, because I'm not giving up. But I really feel like sometimes when we hit them where it hurts it, that's when they start to act like they understand us.
You stop their dollars.
Right. Right. So, yeah.
Why do you think your community, why do you think everybody's afraid? Because that's an interesting question.
Well, because some people was put out before due to certain things that happened to them. But now what they did was an incident happened where it was like fights going on. That's because we have no unity in the community where they're doing things with the children, with the young adults or the teenagers and whatever. So there were a lot of fights going on. Now they have armed security over here watching the children and us, and we're on the verge of being put out. I just don't understand how that's okay. They're spending their funds on stuff like that, but they won't even
put it back in the
they won't put it back in the community. Right.
So I'm going to repeat what I'm hearing. You're telling me that they're paying for these security officers, and you said they're armed.
Armed security officers.
Armed security officers for children, right?
They're here supposedly securing our community.
Okay. However, they're not fixing your air conditioners. They know that the temperatures are over 90, because didn't we talk about that, right? Extreme heat. Okay. So I'm just repeating what I'm hearing. Extreme heat. We're not going to fix. Let me just. AC not working, right? And they get funded for, right? So they have the money. Okay. So the money's there.
One quick context. June, it was on the news from HUD. Sorry. So this is we don't own media. So in June, HUD actually put out a statement, and I have it in a copy, basically saying that, Public Housing Authority, in this case Raleigh Housing Authority,
right,
should directly address whatever it is that the residents need to combat extreme heat wave situation. And also it was on NPR that HUD actually opened up the funding such that Raleigh Housing Authority, for example, could pay for the resident utility bill because of the cooling. So even if not the AC, then they could at least pay for a utility with air conditioning. And are they doing that? Did they talk about? Yeah.
But they're paying for security.
They take
hold it up, right?
Yeah.
I know that they'll give me so much trouble, and I've always been targeted.
Oh, she wanted. Hold it.
Sorry. I was gonna ask them basically to help me with the bill that I have now, but I know that they're gonna look at me as I'm a target. It's sad because when I was doing things around here to help the community as resident council, I was being told that, you're a threat to them, and it hurt my feelings because I'm supposed to be in a way with y'all with helping the community, if that makes sense, but not with y'all with BS that y'all bring with us. I was so against that. I was all about the residents. That was
right.
But to hear that I'm a threat to Raleigh Housing Authority because I'm not putting up with y'all stuff or going for y'all telling me anything and thinking I'm just going to deal with it, that's what the problem was. And so, I was going to ask them if they can help me with my bill because it's literally due, and I don't feel like I should be paying that much for, my light bill because I don't use it that much. I mean, literally, I try to maintain, But,
how much is your bill, if you don't mind me asking?
It's like $156 right now.
What is this? If these are intrusive, let me. I'm getting somewhere in my mind, but I want to make sure. What is the square footage of your unit?
I don't know.
Okay. So, and the reason why I'm asking is because that's an extreme bill, because my house is probably maybe about 2,200 square foot, right? That's my bill. You see what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is equivalency shouldn't be the same, and you shouldn't have to pay for something like that. And they're not willing to pay these bills. So just that fear and anxiety is what I'm kind of getting at. So
and I really don't make it.
Yeah.
I don't even have the money. I had to literally wait till my second check came to pay it. But I'm just thinking I don't really bring in that much, but all my bills is over what I bring in.
Yeah.
And that's still not making any sense to me.
Yeah.
They have rent calculations wrong over here for people. A lot of people don't check into that, but I know if it's too much for me, if it's not adding up and you're taking over half of my check, that something's not right.
Yeah.
Especially if they're supposed to look at your income anyway and even maximize how much you make to make sure it's equivalent to where you live in.
A lot of problems from that is they have a different people coming in and out of the office. We just got introduced to a new manager around the beginning of this year, and she's gone.
Yeah.
So it's been, since I've been here, 6 or 7 managers, right? We've been cyber attacked. Nobody helped us with that. Nothing. We've been cyber attacked. Raleigh Housing Authority was cyber attacked, I want to say last year in May.
So all y'all's information was up.
That's nothing new. There's nothing different. But we're gonna have to wrap it up because Child has to leave. But
And I
want to use.
You want to? Okay.
Yeah, use that.
I just appreciate
I want her this week, and then I'm gonna.
You got something to say?
You want me to speak?
Yeah, I want whoever else want to say something before.
Oh, I actually didn't have anything to say, but just to be a listening ear.
No.
We can talk about it. I don't want to talk about my
It all links together.
Mm-hmm.
If you look do a power map, you'll see the people.
I'm trying to figure out where to even start because when so I'm a recent grad from Shaw. I just graduated. Thank God I'm not the trenches. But everything that y'all were talking about today is literally what Shaw is going through right now. The rezoning, the sense of heat, the mold in the buildings, and everybody thinks that this is such a praise that we're getting these rezonings, these new buildings, but they're not understanding that. And I've sat in the meetings. I was the president of the student body.
I do not mean to interrupt, but I want y'all to think about. Do y'all hear the concert?
Yeah.
Do y'all hear the concert? So I'm yeah.
And they want me to move my amphitheater. That's not going to make sense.
So I did not mean to interrupt anybody, but I just felt like while we're here, we're listening to Red Hat, and this is exactly why they want to move this to expand. Okay, I was just proving a point. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I saw. Okay.
No, I didn't even realize that. But yeah,
I'm telling you that. So I'm what I'm getting at. Yeah, I'm listening to you guys, and I just want to make sure that I'm asking the right questions, so the questions can be heard and seen. So yeah, I was like, is there a whole concert while we talking about this? Okay, the point was proven. Thank you, Lord. Okay, keep going.
You right. Well, we're literally going through this with Shaw. My first year, even staying on campus, was my senior year because my mom is here, so I didn't have to live on campus. But when I was able to live on campus on my senior year, I just couldn't believe that our students were living like this in the mold. There's no type of circulation. One thing I told them is that we need vents in our rooms, in the restrooms, because it has to go somewhere. And if it's just sitting there, it's creating bacteria. We've had cases where students were getting sick. And we had one brother, he had a rash so bad, I had to tell him he couldn't stand by me, but I still was letting him know, like, I'm here for you, but those type of cases, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Those type of cases, it's like, wow, this is really going on. But what saddens me is that with these situations, our school, and there are certain people with our university who feel that these are great decisions, but not really looking at the outcome of what it's going to do to our black land. We've seen so many. We have a strip that used to be owned by black homeowners, and now it's just a white gay men. And it's nothing, and it's not like we have a issue with them at all. But if you gonna make something better, allow the same people to witness that better and go through that better,
experience that better,
instead of having somebody else come and take our land and say, oh, okay, you don't even know you walking on history. You don't even know what this street means and what my people did to even keep this institution going. So I just feel like with this story most definitely needs to be heard and to be the step forward to keep everybody aware of what's going on, and then to see that there are a lot of similarities in this black community that's happening down the street in the next black community. That has to put the dots together for us that we are being targeted in our communities and having to be forced out because we don't fit in their equation. And I just feel like that's not fair at all.
It's not. It's not. Okay. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna let you take us on out. But I sure appreciate y'all letting me be here. I'm asking the questions.
I'm glad.
Just the reflect on like some of what y'all were saying, like echoing. I believe like with the situation with Shaw, I believe that's done very intentionally.
Yeah.
So that
they use the
building
blackface.
breaks down. The building breaks down. That way they can come in, buy that land, and utilize it however they want. Now they get all the black folk out.
There it is.
They don't care about that historic land. They don't care about that community. They don't care about that education or whatever. Same thing with like what you were saying about like the black community, and that's where a big issue comes in. Why we can't push issues as well, because even in your own neighborhood, you don't know each other, or we're not connected. Like that rent strike will work, but everybody has to do it.
Right.
And I remember when I was doing labor, I was a labor organizer, so I was helping people in fast food and retail, and I was trying to organize them. And we, me and two of my other coworkers at the time, we were trying to organize this Bojangles, and we were trying to stage a walkout to get everybody to come walk out that store. And some of the people did, but not everybody had the courage to walk out because they were scared of the outcome, the repercussions of that. But the point is, when you stand together, they can't really do anything because they can't do it to everybody.
Right.
When you start messing with their money, they have no choice but to listen to you, because now their pockets are being affected. And when it's profit over people, now they have no choice but to listen to the people, because now their profits are below.
Yeah. And it even I gotta say this one thing. It even makes me think, like, if you're scared now, imagine how scared you really are going to be when you don't have a roof over your head. Like, you don't have nobody to call, no warmth or nothing to even be like, okay, I'm okay, my children are okay. Then you're going to be like, I should have fought, but it's going to be too late. Now we got to start with the next case, and that shouldn't even be the case, you know. And I feel like even with Shaw, they do this a lot. They do this a lot in the black community, where they pick one particular community to be the face of what's going to be the next change. And I feel like that's what it is for Shaw, because it's already quote unquote established. It's an institution. It's majority black. It has to stay open because it's bringing in students. So now this is about to be a vision, a quote unquote vision of what they're about to do for all our black communities. And it may look good and everything, but you're going to just see white buildings, white walls, white cars, white everything,
white
without
people.
any white people, without any type of
there it is,
any type of culture of us, you know. So just recognizing that they are moving strategic and how to get us and remove us from our communities.
Just one last bit.
So initially, this is just more for like informational logistical stuff. I mentioned a little bit about like the fact that like Raleigh Housing Authority should use all the available resources from HUD to address extreme heat faced by the tenants. That being said, I understand that not that I don't understand. I get their reasoning for saying that, oh, everyone here is gonna leave anyway, we don't really help them. But like, what kind of mentality is that?
That's
what kind of mentality is that? It's like, oh,
have a heat stroke. You're gonna leave anyway. Might as well have a heat stroke.
Might as well have a heat stroke now. It doesn't matter. So what we are saying from Wake County Housing Justice Coalition is that they need to address the situation as people are still living here. So I already passed it off to a few people already, but I got some copies of our press statement from Wake County Housing Justice Coalition, press statements from HUD, and not that first one, but what else? We got an infographic on why trees are important. They just chopped down a big one, right?
They chopped down this one right here and put up that camera right there to watch us
Oh,
all.
this camera right here?
Yes, ma'am. They took a tree down that was there for the longest, and they said it was in the way from the camera view.
So they chopped down the tree to put security camera.
Yes.
With the money that they don't have.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know that. That makes it hotter because no shade.
There's no shade around here.
It just ties back into like our whole issue, energy consumption and the heat.
Right.
Like,
there was plenty of places they could have put it. I mean,
what you need? You need a water? A water.
Yeah, but I just wanted to get the word out. Like, we have information we want to share, and obviously we're gonna follow up with the press since they want to line up here. We're gonna share with them like this is what we talked about, and you should have been here basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know we're ending, and especially. And what is your name again? I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's what we should have said. I am Wanda Gilbert Coker. I'm one of the co-founders of Wake County Housing Justice Coalition, and we also have our very, very, very committed members. Wall. That's Wall.
Yep. Hey, look.
Our brother. Don't get anything else mixed up. Very committed. We could not do this without Wall. I know.
Yes.
And then we have Aisha, who is a member of.
Yes.
And also lives.
Thank you, Aisha. Yes.
And then we also have Star, who's also an intern for us from NC Block.
Love it.
Very beneficial to us.
Yes.
And we also have other members who work with us in the background and belong to other groups as well. So I just wanted to say that everything you said about Shaw, everything we were saying about here, all of this downtown, there's a development board through the city of Raleigh where all white men get together that gives their ideals about planning on what they think Raleigh should look like. And I want to remind people that elections are coming up. People know elections are coming up. And yeah, Kamala, however y'all want to say it, Kay Harris is who most are going to vote for. But I want you to understand, to know that many of the other Democrats, when you start coming down lower for city council, judges, state, are very important. But you definitely need to investigate Power Map, see where the money is coming from, because some of their money is coming from the same place that the Republicans' money is coming from, which is Project 2025 money too. Don't get it twisted. When it comes to City of Raleigh money, the city council who's running, the city council we have now, the mayor we have now, is very much affiliated with Project 2025. Mary Ann Bowen, I said it, and I can prove it.
Yes.
There's one who's running for city council now. And District D, we don't even have anybody else running against this district. And she has voted against the black community the most, along with the Project 2025 mayor that we have. So, first thing she will say is that, I'm not racist. Well, let me tell you something, B. If you vote against us, oppress us, repress us, then you are racist. And any black person who tells you that don't make you anti-black, then guess what? They're anti-black because they're lying to you, and they don't even want to accept their anti-blackness. They are anti-black. You are anti-black. You, Mary Ann, is racist. You are probably racist too, but if you don't want to accept you're racist, you're definitely anti-black. Jane Harrison, because you have voted against the black community. There's nothing, and just because a few very wealthy, very politically connected black people have benefited from your votes does not make you not anti-black. Does not make you not anti-black. It makes you just, you voted for Shaw to be very politically aligned with whiteness, because the first zoning application that went through was a white man who was the very first white man who changed the zoning laws over at College Park where they could come in and gentrify. Now his name is Stewart. Now Stewart was the very first man to go over there and change how they could go over there and colonize. Now, it's funny how he's the very first man to get the application to go over at Shaw and colonize. Shaw used to be a plantation. I said it if you follow me on social media. it's going to be a plantation again because it is aligned, guess with who?
Wow.
The Downtown Housing Alliance. And guess who the Downtown Housing Alliance is aligned with? Mary Ann Bowen and the same people who want to make the Red Hat Amphitheater bigger, as if they don't have choices. If you go back and look at Greek mythology, where amphitheaters were first derived from, now I could be wrong. If anything, you have to mean they arrived from us in Africa. But you know, they say Greek. If you look it up, they were high. They they went up in the air. You could sit up in the air and look down at the amphitheater and the fights and all that kind of stuff. Well, y'all could go up higher with that amphitheater than you are. You don't have to go wider and close the road. There are many things you can do, but because you want to make everybody have to come down this street where these black community is and make it harder, it's fine with you, because it don't impact where you actually stay over in a $6 million house and you don't even actually live over here. So all of this aligns if you power map it, who gets the money, who gets funded, who wins in the end, who gets to make political decisions. And anything you read that says that somebody's going to get hurt, downtown is not going to make it financially, the only people they're talking about are white people. Project 2025 people, whiteness. They're not talking about anybody black. They're not talking about working families. They're not talking about low income. My God, they're not talking about the homeless. They're not talking about anybody who needs it. The people who need the money, who need the funding, who need the housing. That is not who Bill King who's talking about it. He's not talking about us. As Brother Kendrick Lamar says, they are not like us. And I'm going to end it with that. They are not like us. And as the sister wanted to give a cocoa finna say, because they're not talking about us.
Say it again. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, guys.